Today, we're going to talk about home inspections and helping a seller get the most out of their sales experience trying to sell their house. What makes a buyer leave? What makes a buyer walk away? In this market where there are so few houses for sale and a buyer finally gets their offer accepted, what would make them walk away from the deal? I'll tell you what, inaccurate disclosures. When the buyer makes an offer on a house, the seller is required to furnish a disclosure to the potential buyers. So that way the buyers know everything that they know about the house. And this disclosure is presumed to be accurate. However, for multiple reasons, the disclosures are not always accurate. Sometimes it's unintentional. People just don't know what's in their house, or they don't know how old things are, and they just write what they think, which is fine. It's an honest mistake. People make errors. I get that. And for the most part, that stuff happens and it's not a big deal. But some people do it on purpose. That's right. Some people are intentionally not honest with the disclosure, which is what I'm here for. As a quality home inspector, my job is to inspect the house. That way the buyer does know what they're getting for real. But when a buyer has a disclosure that drastically varies from the inspection, either because the seller is being intentionally not truthful or unintentionally making erroneous claims on the disclosure, it makes the buyer feel uneasy. And then the inspector comes in and all of a sudden there are tens of thousands of dollars of repairs that need to happen before you can live in the house. And it makes you pause. Some people are like, all right, well, let's renegotiate. But a lot of people are like, you know what? If this much stuff came up as a surprise now, what other stuff is out there? And it makes people nervous because the disclosure is not accurate. And some people feel like they're being lied to. And once you feel like the other party is not being honest in a negotiation, it's real hard to, in earnest, continue a transaction like that, and buyers tend to walk. What can you do as a seller to avoid this awkwardness from happening? I'll tell you what you can do. You can hire Patriot to come out and do a pre-listing home inspection. Now we come through the house, we inspect it. We do the same thing we would do as if you were buying the house, except for you get the knowledge first. We're going to look at the roof. We're going to look at the heating system, the AC, electric, plumbing, look for termites, check for knob and tube wiring, asbestos, mold, everything. And then you can fill out your disclosure afterwards and it's going to be accurate because you had a professional come through and look at everything. People get nervous about the pre-list inspection. Sellers are like, well, Mike, what if you come through and you find a bunch of stuff wrong with my house? We are going to find a bunch of stuff wrong with your house because there are no perfect houses. So don't stress out about it. You'd rather know now from me than know in 2 weeks when the buyer's home inspector comes through and you find out at that point, and now you're under the gun to either fix repairs or make financial concessions or whatever, and you can't really plan as good as you could if you had an unlimited amount of time. So if you do your pre-listing inspection and we come through and we tell you that there's a bunch of stuff wrong with the house, you've got options. You don't have to fix everything we find. Maybe you don't have the finances to do that. Maybe that's why you're selling the house, because you can't keep up with it. That's okay. The main thing is accurately disclose the conditions we find. And then when the buyer makes their offer on the house, they know what they're buying.